Hello everyone. The aim of this video is to give you an overview of the content we will cover in this week. This week we are going to be looking at chromatography and the use of chromatographic techniques in the context of environmental analysis, focusing slightly, although not exclusively, in analyzing polyaromatic hydrocarbons, PAHs. You've got not the exercise for this week's workshop, because in this week's workshops we're going to be discussing two papers, one on one particular technique called GCMS, gas chromatography mass spectrometry, and the other one is in a technique called TLC, thin layer chromatography. We will be discussing the papers in the workshops. However, please do read them beforehand and pay especially attention to the figures in both papers, because we will be discussing those on the workshop. It doesn't matter that you don't understand them or that I have many questions, that's fine. But if you engage with the papers before coming to the session, everything will make much more sense and you will get more out of the session. About the content for the theory, you've got the slides for the videos I've used, and you've got a series of videos dedicated to chromatography, both mine and by other authors. You've got a video that is a general introduction to chromatography and the basis of chromatographic separations. You've got another video dedicated exclusively to thin layer chromatography, TLC. Another video on gas chromatography, GC, and one short video dedicated to a specific type of gas chromatography, which is GCMS, gas chromatography coupled with mass spectrometry. And the last video from me will be one dedicated to HPLC, high performance liquid chromatography. You also have a video called A Laboratory Guide to PFC Analysis, and that's one video developed by the UN as part of the Stockholm Convention. Is available from their website. As a reminder, the Stockholm Convention is the one that covers PAHs, the regulation on polyaromatic hydrocarbons and persistent organic pollutants in general. And it's a textbook example of how you use chromatography in an environmental context, how you actually do these experiments and to monitor, in this case, a persistent organic pollutant in the lab. It's also interesting because it's looking at a particular pollutant, which is a fluorinated compound. So all the persistent organic pollutants we looked in the POP session were chlorinated compounds. This is a fluorinated compound. You've got a couple of videos from the Royal Society of Chemistry that are a general introduction to gas chromatography and a general introduction to high performance liquid chromatography that will be useful. It will hopefully give you the context of how those techniques work and how that equipment looks like. You also have a couple of the two workshops papers we're going to be discussing that are also mentioned in the videos. One is the one on thin layer chromatography and the other one in GCMS. I've also included a particular section 13.3 of a book called HPLC and UHPLC for practicing scientists. It's a section dedicated specifically to the environmental applications of HPLC, and it's available from the Nobel database. Another paper that is also mentioned in the videos is this one, also focused on HPLC, on the analysis of mycobacteria. And I thought it was interesting because it's just another way to use chromatographic techniques, but not to analyze chemicals, but to analyze bacteria. Optionally, I've given you a couple of resources. One is introduction history of thin layer chromatography and how chromatographic techniques started, in case you are interested on the background, where those techniques historically come from. And the final one is another video from the Royal Society of Chemistry. It's about a technique called mass spectrometry. Mass spectrometry is briefly mentioned in the videos that deal with gas chromatography. It's beyond the scope of this module for you to learn about mass spectrometry. However, it could be helpful for you to have a look at this video because it will help you understand better the section on GCMS. If you have never come across gas chromatography, if you're not familiar with the technique, if you're not familiar with the mass spectrometry technique, which is quite likely, then it might make it more difficult to understand the GCMS section. So it's only 7-8 minutes. It's worth having a look at it. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope this was useful. Remember, if you have any questions, you are welcome to email me. However, I would encourage you to post in the discussion board. As a reminder, I'm subscribed to both boards, the one about assessment and the one about the module itself. So I will get a notification when you post, and then your questions will help everybody in this module, and we will create a body of knowledge together. So I hope you enjoy the week.